name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So this video comes from a live stream I did on, what was it, Tuesday, May 18th. I'm talking about the current, well, I don't know when you're watching this, the current, at the time, conflict, the Israel, Gaza, Hamas conflict that's going on. I've been running to my bomb shelter more than once. So I'm reasonably aware of what's going on. And, I thought this was a very good bit. I took the John Oliver, completely biased, I would say, disgustingly racistly biased take on it, and basically went through it with a couple of friends on this live stream who aren't as quite informed as I am as what's going on. And I kind of just demolish his utter garbage. It's kind of fun to watch. You know what I mean? Like, it makes me laugh. So I've had a bunch of requests, people say I should put this out. I've edited it down a bit. I cut out a few of the tangents. Go and check out the original one. I don't want to say anyways, I'm taking anything out of context. It's on my channel. Is up there now. Like, share, subscribe. This is all good stuff. I do like you liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you subscribe, please make sure you're still subscribed to YouTube. YouTube are not my biggest fan, but I do appreciate the platform they continue to give me. And if you want to be super nice, super nice, go check out my Indiegogo. Also in the video notes, two awesome comic books. They demonetize my channel, so it's a way I'm trying to make a bob or two. They're actually two pretty darn good comics, if I may say so myself. So before we get into the clip, I'm going to give you a little bit of background. I'm going to basically give you everything you need to know about this conflict, so you can be informed. And there's a lot of disinformation out there, right? There's a lot of, I would say, maliciously misleading narratives out there, which are just completely untrue. So basically, this one started about a week or so, I think two weeks ago. You have two major factions in the Palestinian world. You have Hamas and you have the Palestinian Authority, Fatah. Right? The Hamas are gaining a lot of ground politically. That's how they came into power in Gaza in 2005. They won the election there. There hasn't been elections there since. It's been, 16 years since there's been an open election. That's the kind of democracy you can expect from Hamas. Somewhat similar to the democracy of the Palestinian Authority, who also don't have elections. So Hamas was gaining a lot of ground politically. They were going to win the election, so Palestinian Authority pushed off the election for another year. So Hamas, to demonstrate their strength to the Palestinian people, they said, well, we could just start a war. We could just start a war with Israel, because we're stronger. We can do that. So that's essentially where I think this conflict happened. So there's been a lot of stuff that's going on that they said this is just simply not true. There's a narrative that this started because there is an East Jerusalem community which is being ethnically cleansed by Arabs, ethnically cleansed of Arabs by the Israeli government to be replacing them, to replace them with Jews. This is a complete fiction. This is an absolute fiction. Go and just look up on Wikipedia the Sheikh Jarrah property dispute. Essentially, what it is, these are four homes that were. Have since time immemorial built, been, I think anyway, been owned by Jews. However, in 1948, when Israel was created, the partition plan, by the way, we were always fine. We're always totally cool with coexistence. If you ever come to Israel, you will see that's exactly what you're going to see: coexistence. You go anywhere, you go to any mall, hospital, restaurant, cinema, Arabs and Jews, Muslims and Jews living and working together. That's basically what you see. We're fine with coexistence. However, the other Arab states in 1948 didn't like the idea of the partition plan of sharing land with us, so they vowed to wipe us out. There was a war of independence. Amazingly, I would say miraculously, we survived and formed a small indefensible country. We had nothing. We came from we were refugees from the war, from World War II, from the Holocaust. And Britain basically left most of the munitions and arms with the surrounding Arab forces. Anyway, we survived, but we lost, quite a bit of territory. Some of that territory was in East Jerusalem, where it was then ethnically cleansed the Jews. So the people living in these homes said, "Hey, we live here for free. We don't have to pay our Jewish landlord anymore," and they didn't. So in 1967, in another miraculous war, we've had a few of them here in Israel. In another miraculous war, we regained that land, and the people who owned them, owned the property, asked for their rent, please. Can we have their rent, please? And it's been in court for 70 years, like literally 70 years, going backwards and forth, and it's gone through every court in the world. The court system in Israel is extremely left-leaning. It's really, just so you understand, it's got to the High Court, and the High Court is like, well, the law is you need to pay rent, and if you don't pay rent, they have the right to evict you. They refuse to pay rent, so they are being evicted. It's really that simple. However, you're going to see in the John Oliver clip, it's being promoted. The narrative is that this is something from the Israeli government. This is a racist policy from the Israeli government of ethnically cleansing Arabs to replace them with Jews. That is the narrative that they give. That they give, and it's again entirely fraudulent. Entirely fraudulent. So as a response to these evictions, right, an eviction that was happening, which I think was actually delayed. I think just threatened eviction. I think the government asked the Supreme Court to delay it to find some other solution. After 70 years in court, right? So that's the pretense Hamas used to start this war. So to start the war, this was something called Jerusalem Day, which is a very, very important day in Israel. It's the day commemorating the 1967 war, the Six-Day War, where we regained our access to our holiest site, the old city of Jerusalem, and the Wailing Wall, the Western Wall. So it's a really massive day. We in Israel, Jews, religious Jews, consider it a miraculous day, and the normal practice is to have prayer. You go to the Western Wall, you pray, and there's normally a march around the old city, which also goes through the Arab quarter. So when things were kicking off, the police and the government prohibited that. That didn't go down. That was not met with jubilant applause. But yeah, you have to do what you have to do. At the same time, in the Al-Aqsa Mosque on the Temple Mount, Hamas got the people there to start stockpiling massive rocks and Molotov cocktails to throw at random Jews. By the way, you should know, in the Hamas charter, they exist to murder Jews, right? To kill Jews wherever they can be found, in black and white. So they were fulfilling their charter. So in the Al-Aqsa Mosque, on the Dome of the Rock, they were storing Molotov cocktails and rocks to kill Jews with, right? To kill Jews with. The police went in. The police, by the way, in that area is, I think, 99% Muslim, 99% Arab, right? So the police went in because there's terrorists there throwing Molotov cocktails and rocks trying to murder Jews, in the holiest site where they just want to pray, right? So the police went in to stop them, and then that was considered an invasion, an evil invasion. Again, it's a false narrative that has indeed been spun. So all this then started off with this war. Right now we're about, 10, 15 days in, and Hamas have shot over 4,000 rockets, at Israel, into civilian population in Israel. These rockets, you should know, have no guidance system whatsoever, and they're kind of garbage. So about a third of them fall short into Gaza, causing much of the casualties that you're seeing on the news. Like a very, very large proportion. Israel, in response, their goal is to degrade Hamas's ability to wage this kind of campaign. So they've been focusing on their infrastructure. The infrastructure is in a densely populated the densely populated Gaza Strip, full of civilians, and so we go to insane levels to make sure there are as few civilian casualties as possible. Again, go do your own your own independent research. I don't think you'll find another military that has had a lower rates of civilian casualties in urban combat such as this. It just by a massive margin. So anyway, now you're up to date. Now you're up to date. So John Oliver, of course, has to be. No, Israel's bad. Israel is evil. So we're going to look at his clip, and you're going to watch me slowly demolish it. I find it kind of fun. I hope you find it fun. I hope you find it fun too.
Palestinian territory where militants are firing hundreds of rockets into Israel, and in the Israeli-occupied West Bank, Palestinian protesters fought with police.
Yeah, that's the crazy shit, right? We've had rockets before. We've never had this intensity. But at the same time, there's like riots going on inside Israel. You see, here's the weird thing. Israel is actually a very blended country. Basically, anywhere you go, you see Muslims, Arabs, Jews working and living together. It's the craziest thing. There's no problem. You go to any mall, any hospital, anywhere. It's Arabs and Jews. Because we all live here. What are you gonna do? It's like having a roommate. That like you don't really get on with. You all live together. Shut up.
Yeah,
what's the big deal? So that's the weird thing. So now you've got a bunch of these like militant Arabs rioting in Israel, like in Jaffa, which is like this. Jaffa is this pinnacle of coexistence. It's really so. This is what's freaking people out. So what's really pushed people over the edge? They burnt down a synagogue during this like initial phase, and like Israelis don't put up with that shit. Israelis, they just think of Berlin 1932. They're like, yeah, no, but this ain't going down. Burning a synagogue is the absolute worst thing they could have done.
Yeah.
So it really is. It's like I don't tell you. So that's why things are really kicked off. Anyway, fine.
Terrible.
Over 80 Palestinians have been killed and 7 Israelis in this tit-for-tat war.
Okay, there is a lot to unpack there, from the horror of the situation, which has escalated significantly since then, to the use of the phrase tit-for-tat war in a conflict where you just pointed out one side has suffered over 10 times the casualties.
So this is like they will harp on a lot, right? We use our military to protect our citizens. That's right. I'm actually in my bomb shelter right now, right? We use our military. We protect our citizens. They use their citizenry to protect their military, right? So it does. They have such incredibly low losses. Again, in urban warfare like this, there has been no army that has achieved anywhere close as small amounts of civilian losses as the Israeli army. That's just like factually true. That's like a statistic reality, right? It's like no one's even close to us. Like what we do is, if it's a civilian population, you probably heard about this tower that was blown up. They say they phone up everybody in it and say, could you get out of there in the next hour? Because we're going to blow it up. Normally military, they don't tell the enemy where they're going to fire. But we do that. But even so, we have like this Iron Dome thing. Yeah, we are incredibly more powerful. Right? That I agree with you. We could carpet bomb Gaza into extinction within probably 4 days, right?
Yeah.
I mean, without using nuclear weapons, but we wouldn't do that because it's wrong. It's a wrong thing to do.
It's a good stance to be in, though. Yeah, it's a good stance to be in, though. If you have morals, and it's a good stance to be in, right?
It's a shame we have to be in the stance.
Well,
honestly, we believe in the same God, us and Muslims.
Yeah.
It's again, in Israel, we all just get along. What's the big deal? Why can't you just have an Arab state? Why don't I have a Palestinian state? Right? where they let the same let Jews live there, like we let Arabs live. Just be normal. Just be normal, and everybody's happy. That's it is. It's like, well, I don't mind. You can call it Palestine, whatever you want. Have your state, have my state, and well, why don't we get on? Because we could do better. You know, like we're doing okay. You could do. I mean, like Gaza should be a paradise, man. Gaza should be an economic paradise. It's beachfront property, right next to the biggest technology boom in the freaking world. It should be an economic paradise, and that's what we were promised, by the way, when we gave it to them to to develop their own state in. They developed this. It's crazy.
Well, war doesn't have any reason, does it? Let's face it. People that wars are caused by ridiculous reasons. Yeah. So
what's that? Remember that show, Whoops Apocalypse?
Yeah, I remember it.
It's basically
it is. Yeah,
I think we're actually watching that. Anyway, yeah. So he will help. Yes, there are far more Gazan casualties than Israeli because we live in bomb shelters and we are, technology. We are just incredibly stronger. Yeah, we listen. We had turned up here. We were refugees from the Holocaust. Yeah, we survived. We did pretty well. I'm sorry. But you're still trying to kill me. What do you want? We're happy to live with you. Stop trying to kill. That's the only rule, right? That's really the only rule that we need to agree on. Don't try and kill me because I'm Jewish. That's it. Once we all agree on that, I think we can come to terms, right?
Well,
they're like, no, it's my right to kill you because you're a Jew. I'm like, but I'm really not up for that. Would you really rather not? How about I just kill you if you're a Jew if I kill you from mosque? Is that okay? No, really, no, I don't know. No, I don't want to be killed as such because I'm really. That's the loggerhead, right? That's really the loggerhead we're at right now. So anyway,
is this guy reporting it right then? This fella?
No. So let's do
something which speaks to both the severe power imbalance at play here and how that often gets obscured by how we choose to talk about it. And look, if you are not fluent in Middle East history, I know this can seem overwhelming.
Well, better luck for you, John. I am.
The latest chapter of that story you haven't read. So I'm not going to try and recap the history here.
Yeah, I know you're not, because you're going to look like a twat because you want to support the Palestinians because you are a liberal, brainless twat. That's why. So no, I swear you don't want to recount the history because at every bloody turn that you look like a twat. That's why.
But this week's actually been a pretty good reminder that while some things are incredibly complex and require a great deal of context, others are just wrong.
He's now going to list the things that are incredibly complex that need a great deal of context and will remove the context and the complexity whatsoever.
Take, for instance, one of the incidents that's been a flashpoint, the planned expulsion of Palestinians who've lived in the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood for generations. It's currently tied up in the Israeli court system with the foreign ministry calling it a real estate dispute. But it's worth knowing that the UN's Commissioner for Human Rights has said that these expulsions would violate Israel's obligations under international law. So,
all right, so there you go. So, as I said, he's framing it as this is the Israeli government expelling Arabs to ethnically cleanse them to replace them as Jews. That's the narrative that's going on. As I said, it's a legal dispute that's been going on since 1967.
So he's reporting it wrong then?
Yeah, but he's doing it because he's a twat.
I think it's, yeah.
I mean, I honestly, I could just leave it paused and say he's a twat. And I think the pictures agrees with me completely. But we'll let him keep going.
Yeah.
But it's not hard to see why sanitized terms like evictions or property disputes,
or what, like the actual genuine real terms of what these actually genuinely are,
rankle those who live there.
You grew up in the neighborhood, your family home is slated for eviction. What is the scene right now? Well, thank you so much for having me. To start, it's not really an eviction. It's forced ethnic displacement to be up.
Yeah, maybe you're just saying that because you're full of shit. Maybe that. I don't know. Maybe you're saying that because that makes you sound more sympathetic. No? Maybe because you have no leg to stand on? Could be, but let's not look at the other side of the story because there's no nuance.
Accurate. Eviction does not imply the hundreds and hundreds of heavily armed police and army and settlers looting, blowing up your doors, throwing your...
Okay. No, okay. Okay. I was with you with the hundreds of police. I can believe you, right? I believe you with the army, right? Okay, yes, you seem to be putting up a bit of a struggle to being evicted. I agree. But now there's settlers looting. Sod off. You don't have anything we want. Piss off. We're not looting from you. Nobody's blowing you up or throwing grenades at you. 1 second, as you'll say in a second.
Children from your windows and using brute force to throw you out in the street and assaulting and arrest you should you resist.
Well, yes. Because you've gone through every court in the entire freaking world. It's not yours, okay? Your great-great-grandfather moved in when your government ethnically cleansed it from Jews. The Jews say, excuse me, could I have my money back, please? And you're like, screw you, dear. I not give you. No, screw you. No. I understand you're not happy, but you're not being ethnically cleansed, okay?
It doesn't imply the grenades. It doesn't imply the...
There's no fucking grenades!
Rubber bullets.
Right. There might be rubber bullets.
Well, why is he saying that then? Because he's a twat. Is that what you're saying?
Okay. What disadvantage is it? Shouldn't say it whatsoever. This man is going to believe him unquestionably, right? And he said it now, so therefore it's true. There is nothing else. There is no other reality whatsoever. He said it, and those sneaky Jews better keep their damn mouths shut. Basically is where he is.
The threat of eviction is accurate only in a very superficial level.
The exact definition terms of eviction.
One day you live somewhere, the next day you don't, and that change wasn't your choice. But it doesn't tell the whole story. It is true. The militants from Palestinian groups like Hamas fired over 1,000 rockets towards Israel this...
Just 1,000 rockets? Motherfucker! Yeah, you're saying that with a shrug. Piece of shit!
1,000 rockets? That's bad. That's really bad.
Yeah, no, okay. But the thing is, here's the thing about anti-Semitism, which is incredible. It's the one prejudice that makes you feel good about yourself. Okay? It's like, if you don't like black people, you know you're a piece of shit. Okay? There's no way of sugarcoating it. You know you're a piece of shit. Okay? There's no way around it, right? Every time with anti-Semitism, they're like, no, the Jews are being evil and they're oppressing somebody. They're using Christian baby blood. They're doing whatever. It's the prejudice that allows you to feel good about yourself. Anyway, as I continue.
And that is reprehensible. But, and I realise this is the most load-bearing conjunction in history, but the majority of those rockets thankfully didn't reach their target.
Yeah, excuse you, motherfucker. What? Okay, what? Okay, so let's say I go into a gas chamber and it happens not to work. The Germans are fine. We're all friends again. No, I'm sorry that their rockets are shit, and we have bomb shelters. I'm sorry, but for God's sake, you're still trying to kill me.
The casualties and the damage would have been greater, but for Israeli interceptor rockets, the so-called Iron Dome, which blew most of the incoming missiles to pieces.
Yeah, Israel has a so-called Iron Dome.
Yeah, where did we get that from, cocksucker? Where did that magic from? Did that fall out of our ass? No, okay, it's one of the most brilliant inventions in the history of humanity, which we were forced to invent because pieces of shit like you get upset when we don't die.
Well.
Dad. Hey, Dad.
Hey, long time no see, Ian.
Yes.
Having fun, boy.
Mega Geek wandered in by mistake.
I wandered into a war. That's what I wanted into.
Listen, I don't know about how your viewers and subscribers feel. Some of us are really worried about you, Tzvi. I hope you're okay.
listen. It's like this. It's like this. When your time's up, your time's up. There's nothing you can do about it. When your time's up, your time's up. You can't hide. You can't just leave you. Don't be a schmuck. Okay, like when I want to go on the roof during a rocket attack, that's probably being a schmuck. Okay, I shouldn't.
Just a touch. Yeah.
You should not.
But I might do that. I have friends of mine who live on the hill, like next to me. Yeah. Like, did you see the picture of the?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. It was so, I mean, I've seen pictures of your hometown before, and it's such a beautiful place. And since you informed me about this last week, I've seen some people. I won't name them. And some of them are people that are members of my bloody family who are so ignorant talking about this conflict, and they don't know anybody who's there. They don't understand the scale of the. No, I know I don't understand all of it, but some of the things that people are saying, it just blows my frigging mind when I then come and speak to you and see pictures like that. So
it's kind of what. Listen, it's never been like this.
Oh God,
never been like this.
She's still smiling.
But look, my son who's in the military tells me it's going to be over in a day or so, right? But the whole thing is about degrading Hamas's ability to do. Hamas have had their asses handed to them in oh my God, like they never believed. They had their asses handed in such an insane way. Yeah. No wonder they want a ceasefire. That makes sense.
So what's this gobshite saying with John Oliver?
I don't know. Firstly, he was upset that that we're stronger. He was upset that we have more guns. I'm like, what do you want? I said, look, we came in with nothing out of the swamp from the Holocaust. I'm sorry we survived. Okay, so now he's upset about the Iron Dome because we knocked out most of their missiles. So anyway, I just stop every now and again and interject my commentary. You'll get the drift in a second.
What if we blow up the rockets with more rockets? Sounds like something someone drunkenly wrote down on a napkin once, but it is a real military defense system that really works. And I also know not all the rockets were shot down. Israeli civilians were killed this week, which is terrible. But the point is, this isn't tit for tat.
Yeah, no. The point is, they're fucking sending rockets at me, motherfucker. I'm sorry. Listen. It's really simple. If you send rockets at me, we will defend ourselves. I'm sorry, we're stronger. I'm sorry. How about this? Don't send the rocket. It seems to me that if you don't send the rocket, everybody does better, right? Everybody does better. But okay, that seems to be a fact he's missing. Okay.
I don't like this guy. I never have.
Yeah, well, no, he is a twat.
Massive imbalance when it comes to the two sides' weaponry and capabilities.
Is he English? Is this guy English?
I'm afraid so, yeah. Oh. Another embarrassment up there with Prince Harry.
Boy, that's him sucking Harry's cock right there. Oh, you're so on.
While most of the rockets aimed toward Israeli citizens this week were intercepted, Israel's airstrikes were not. They hit.
Yes, I know. We're better. Yes, I'm sorry. What do you want? I'm sorry. We're better. Jesus, what? Like, really? Like, what? Why is? I mean, why are we in trouble? Why is that a problem? Anyway,
their targets, including a house in a refugee camp, a building housing the Associated Press and Al Jazeera.
By the way, that building was demolished in the middle of a town, in the middle of a high density with zero casualties. You know how it's demolished with zero casualties? Because we phoned them up and said, "Could you please leave, please?" That's where Hamas has their intelligence offices. Yeah. So we want to blow them up, and they're like, and we demolished it with zero casualties.
That's what they call tactical with a care package.
Yeah.
And this 13-story office and apartment building. And what Israel insisted that there were military targets in that building.
The reason we insisted there were military targets in the building, because there were military targets in that building, you piece of shit! I'm like, oh look, it comes out of a Jew's mouth. It can't be real. Like, and you want to tell me you're not an anti-Semite? Yeah, well, why are we lying? Why did you say insisted? You are a piece of human garbage.
Oh dear. So hold on. So they moved everybody out that building before you blew it up.
Yes.
Right. And he's saying what? You didn't?
No, he's saying that we blew it up and when meanie pantses because people. No, he's saying that he's saying that the justification that they were military targets is we insisted they were military targets. Yes, the reason we insisted they were military targets because they were military targets. That is not in any way in dispute. No one says they weren't military targets, right? That's why you're saying insisted, because he wants to throw doubt upon it.
And they destroyed it as humanely as possible. Even
actually, we did, cunt.
Warning people.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, again, what military phones up their enemy and says, "Can you get out of the way, please?"
Destroying a civilian residence sure seems like a war crime, regardless of whether you send a courtesy heads-up text.
Well, I know it seems like a war crime to an anti-Semite cunt like you. However, turns out that war crimes are happening from Hamas, not us. Piece of shit. But they're okay. All those rockets that you shrugged on, which are aimed into civilian population, they're okay. Why? You tell me why.
I've never heard of it before. I think it's a courtesy that not many would extend.
Well, no, okay. The real courtesy was in 2014. We worked out a final measure. We called it a knock on the roof. We tell everybody to get out, right? Everybody, please leave. And then before we blow up the building, we send a one bomb with just a lot of noise. It doesn't do anything other than, and it says then you got like 3 minutes. At that point you got a few minutes, which is still more than I had to get get my bloody air raid shelter. Was it a couple of nights ago? Which I didn't get in time, but the same I did.
So what makes this geezer an expert? That's what I don't understand. Why is he always
the smell of his own farts? The smell of his own farts
never stops.
Superpower. Yes, the smell of his own farts gives him the insane superpower of I don't know. No,
so all this fake outrage is what really, it really grinds my gears about these programs. I mean, I don't watch any of them, obviously.
I think his outrage is genuine. Again, I'll say to Ian, the thing about anti-Semitism is it's the only prejudice that makes you feel good about yourself, because it's always you are have the moral high ground. Right, the Jews are they drinking Christian baby blood? The Jews are doing it, whatever. But this is the face. This is what they always feel. They always feel like they've been, morally superior.
Well, he has a tie and he has glasses and he looks pretty official, doesn't he? You know what I mean? So people are, so dumb people are going to believe what he's saying. Of course, they get it.
And also people have a prejudice to believe them. I mean, like the entirety of the media. And the good thing about the last few years is people see what bullshit the media is. That's why I picked up on it straight away, because I'm used to this. But people now see what utter bullshit the media is, which makes me feel better.
Now I see all this anti-Semitism. I can't unsee it. I know exactly what you mean.
It's so weird as well. It's so weird.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Their homes or livelihoods destroyed. It doesn't really help that the Israeli military posted this triumphant meme showing the explosion and the rubble labeled before and after. Look what we did. People lived there before and now they can't. You get it, right? And obviously...
Yeah. Don't fuck with us. Is what again, the message is really, really simple. Don't fire a rocket. It's really simple. If you do this, we will hurt you. I would rather not hurt you. That's really kind of the bottom line. It'd be much simpler if you could decide not to try and kill us. And I know you're not going to manage it. But still, we're going to try and stop you. Call it a habit.
general, you should probably never meme a war crime. But if you absolutely have to...
Again, not a war crime. And the war crimes are that every missile fired into Hamas, fired by Hamas, which he shrugged about.
At least go with something less boring than the before-after template. Maybe use the Drake meme or the disaster girl. There's a building coming down, so checkmark already there. And it's a little girl with eyes that scream, I don't know what the Geneva Conventions are, and frankly, I don't care. The more I think about it, it works perfectly. The fact is...
Again, the intimation that anything is a war crime is offensive.
I don't understand why he is not reporting what's really going on. I mean,
look, there's a few things going on. Firstly, he gets woke points, and the wokies love John Oliver. They absolutely adore John Oliver. So he gets woke points. So yeah, he says the things that wokies love. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, he believes it, and the third thing is, look, listen, you go to my personal theories on what. Again, I don't think anti-Semitism is the right word. Okay, but I think there is a very normative bias against groups that make up vast majority Jews within non-Jews. Like there is a very normative bias, right? And it's very uncommon not to fight. I mean, yeah, I would say the bias exists in a good 30 to 40%. Probably more. Probably more.
Well,
but I think, and so that I think that it's feeding off that as well.
It's a terrible world we live in.
It is.
Yeah. Listen, dude. Dude, I have to tell you, you've got to laugh. don't let it get on top of you. It's like you got to laugh. It's gonna be there, and it's just like, what can you do? What can you do? You take the piss out of them. That's my
your philosophy.
Yes. Anyway, speaking of taking the piss, what else you got to say?
The citizens of Gaza don't have an Iron Dome to protect them.
Yes, I know. So maybe don't fire missiles, you ignorant cunt.
The way that the citizens of Israel do. It's one of the many ways they're at a significant disadvantage.
Yes, maybe don't start a fight with us.
Although an Israeli military spokesperson tried to push back on the idea that there's really much of a discrepancy there.
Somebody on Twitter said that the Palestinians don't have an Iron Dome. I say yes, they have an Iron Dome. It's called Don't Fire Rockets at Israeli Civilians, and we won't fire anything at Gaza.
Yeah, again, I don't know what his answer is going to be. That seems to be a very reasonable point of view, doesn't it?
Yes.
Common sense. That will give you complete insulation. But no, John Oliver, it's his right. It's his right to defend, Hamas's right to commit war crimes.
Yeah, but there are a couple of differences. Iron Dome, for one, sounds much cooler. And also, it has the significant advantage of being an actual defense system that exists, unlike Gaza's, which is mostly try not to be where the bombs are landing.
You dick! Again. The reason the bombs are landing there is because you're firing fucking missiles at me! It's like, really? How hard is that to work out? But no, that doesn't matter. That actual genuine war crime doesn't matter. No, it's only our response that matters.
And it's important to note here, the vast majority of Palestinians in Gaza are not part of Hamas.
Okay, who voted them? Who voted them in? The Gazans. They are overwhelmingly Hamas. That's crazy. Are you saying it's a mostly peaceful terrorist organization? is that a mostly peaceful? Mostly, yeah. Okay, we had mostly peaceful. This is a mostly peaceful protest. I understand, and this is a mostly peaceful police action.
They don't get together and all decide to launch rockets. It's not a fucking co-op board.
Actually, that's what happens. And the place where they decided to launch the rockets was in the office building that has Al Jazeera and the Associated Press in, that you got your knickers in a twist that he blew up earlier.
When Israel fires rockets at Gaza, it endangers all Palestinians there. Maybe somebody on Twitter could point that out to that guy.
Yeah, again, very simple. 100% defense is don't fire rockets at us. Really, that's it. All you got to do. And I think you would save. Again, think of the money you could save when you don't fire rockets. When you don't need to buy them. You don't need to maintain them. And you could all have really nice vacations. You could have incredible vacation homes. You can have it right there, or you could go away because you're saving a lot of money, right? Easy peasy. But again, John Oliver, doesn't matter that they're trying to kill me.
To people in Gaza, it can seem like the only time anyone pays attention to what's happening there is when Hamas is firing rockets, which is understandably very frustrating because they've been living...
Well, all Hamas has to... Okay, if Hamas says, we're done with this rocket stuff, we're done with the killing Jew stuff. If you didn't know, in Hamas's charter, the reason for existing is to kill Jews. And I'm not making this up, okay? This is not exaggeration. In their charter, it's to kill Jews wherever they can be found.
Unbelievable.
That's actually, like in black and white. There's like that. This is what we are here. How did we make this woman fuzzy? I think we just did. It was a good job.
Under a suffocating blockade for 14 years. And
yes, again, suffocating blockade because they want to kill her. Again, if he wouldn't just ignore that, it would all make sense to him.
In Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories, Palestinians are essentially being governed by a form of apartheid.
No, because we all exist under the same law. We all exist in the same. And I know you want to say apartheid. I know you love apartheid, right? I know you love saying apartheid. But no. I say again, you go to Israel, you will find a completely blended population. We have Arab Muslims on our Supreme Court who win Master Chef. Okay, what else do you want out of life? Okay, there is no apart. If there's an apartheid in Israel, we would be somewhat apart from one another. But we're not. We're not. Yes. Arabs are not allowed into my town because they will try and kill me. How do I know they'll try and kill me? Because before we put the wall up, there was an attack where they killed a few people. That's why we had to put a wall up, because they try and kill us. Now, I understand not all Arabs do that. My pharmacist, lovely guy, he's an Arab. Most Arabs are, not on board for it. But what do you want out of me? Okay.
But still, I don't understand why they don't. This is a news show, right? Is this a news show?
No, it's a satirical show.
Oh, I see. Okay, because wouldn't they usually have both sides of the story?
No, and honestly, on CNN, the reason CNN's been reasonably quiet because they're supporting Biden, and Biden's like, I think what happened was, I think Bibi phoned up Biden, and Biden's like, and B was like, yeah, you want to do this and that here, we'll give you that, this, and people about say, oh yeah, sounds good, and we'll do it, and that's basically what I think happened. This is my guess.
Echoed by both international and Israeli human rights groups.
Yeah, no, but Salem is insanely left-wing, more left-wing than the. Yeah, that's the other thing. This is a legal matter in the courts. The Sheikh Jarrah thing. The courts are incredibly left-wing.
Life in Gaza is hard, even when they are not being bombed, and the U.S. government has implicitly co-signed on the brutally hard line Israel's been taking. This guy basically gave Israel a green light to do anything.
Okay, let me tell you what this guy gave him a green light to. There was a thing called the Martyrs Fund, right? Which is when you murdered a Jew, you were there, and then you were arrested and sent to prison. Or if you injured a Jew and you're arrested and sent to prison, you would then get a stipend. Your family would then get a salary during your prison term. Essentially, it was monetizing racial violence. 100%. So that was fine under Obama's reign. Corbyn loved this thing, by the way. It's called the Martyrs Fund. He personally fundraised for it. So Trump, when he came and said, "Well, we're not going to give you any money while you have state-sponsored racist violence," that would be bad. That would be bad. So he withheld that. I guess I haven't even been watching. I guess Biden has probably given it back.
Yeah,
I would have thought.
it wanted for the last 4 years, and while Biden has had the opportunity to reset that relationship, his administration's response this week has been deeply underwhelming.
It's been, I tell you, I have no idea how it's been so good.
Giving a generic statement that Israel has a right to defend itself.
Well, okay, does Israel have a right to defend itself? I mean, I would love to ask somebody like this. Like, what is okay in terms of self-defense, right? Like, at what point? Because his premise is we have enslaved and occupied, and imprisoned the Gazans and the Palestinian people, and we've stolen their land, and we hate them, and we're racist against them. That's it. That's his attitude, his belief, which is a complete nonsense. That's the Hamas line, but that's a complete nonsense. But then again, yeah, Israel does have the right to defend itself. So that's why he's saying it like, because he's saying they're using that as a smokescreen into pursue a policy of racist ethnic cleansing. And again, I want to point out, if we wanted to destroy Gaza, we could carpet bomb it. It'll take about 4 days, and we will kill everybody. And we could do that. We have without even using, nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons will take 5 minutes. But yes, we could do that. But we won't do that because it is wrong.
It's the exact same line that Obama said and that Bush said before him.
Because it happens to be the truth. Israel has a right to defend itself.
Israel has a right to defend itself. It's just something all presidents end up saying out loud at some point in office, like my fellow.
Oh, he's lost.
Doing that a lot. He's doing that a lot. Really?
He loves the sound of his own voice so much.
Multiple children have been killed this week.
Again, why he isn't blaming Hamas for the death of the children? Again, why isn't firing the rockets? Why is that inconsequential? Not just inconsequential. It doesn't exist. It's as if they're not doing that, right? The way he's ranting is if they're not doing anything.
8 in a single strike just yesterday, and the US is heavily implicated here. Not just by serving as Israel's diplomatic shield at the UN, but by constantly refusing to criticize the indefensible.
No, I've defended it completely. You just ignored the salient fact that they are initiating this combat.
Just this week, a State Department spokesman desperately tried to equivocate when asked a pretty simple question.
I want to ask you on Israel, I don't want to harp on this either, but the Israelis killed 13 people just now, including maybe 5 or 6 children. Do you condemn that? Do you condemn the killing of children?
Yeah, again, everybody condemns the killing of children, but he doesn't want to condemn Israel for killing children. I think the condemnation has to go to Hamas.
Saeed,
I'm asking, do you condemn the killing of Palestinian children?
Obviously, and these reports are just emerging, and I understand, I was just speaking to the team, I understand we don't have independent confirmation of facts on the ground yet, so I'm very hesitant to get into reports that are just emerging.
Doesn't want to answer it.
Deaths of civilians, be they Israeli or Palestinians, are something we would take very seriously.
Holy!
Yeah, okay. What he said was completely right. They would take deaths of people seriously. However, he finds the death of Jews somehow far less bothersome, than the death of Palestinians.
Shit, he just asked you, is child murder bad? This really isn't hard. Just say yes. The only scenario in which the answer to is killing children wrong gets tricky is if you're a time traveler in 1890s Austria trying to explain why you just killed the Hitler family's bouncing you baby boy.
Okay, John, ask this question. Is the killing of children in Gaza Hamas's fault? Is that wrong? Are they wrong to fire the rockets? Are they? Yes or no? No? Can you answer? I bet you can't.
I know how this looks, but trust me, it is complicated.
Yeah, it's not complicated. You're just a spineless cunt.
Yeah.
Look, there is a real tendency, particularly in America, to both sides this situation. And I'm not saying that there aren't some areas where that's warranted, but it's important to recognize there are also areas where it's simply not. Both sides
I think that's... Oh, man.
But one side has one of the most advanced militaries in the world.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, no, again, the reason why he doesn't want to present both sides is because he has no side.
Both sides are suffering heartbreaking casualties, but one side is suffering them exponentially. And it's not like the US.
Yeah, exactly. The side causing it. Why does he constantly ignore it? Because he doesn't care.
Operating from the moral high ground here. It's obviously no stranger to drone striking weddings and saying, we were just trying to target enemy combatants.
We are just trying to target enemy combatants. In fact, we don't even target enemy combatants. We target enemy infrastructure.
Country has blood on its hands too. And look, if you believe Israel's actions are warranted and proportionate
they are warranted, they are proportionate, you are a spineless cunt.
You're welcome to try and make that argument.
I just did. I've done that for the last hour, and you look like what you are, a slimy, spineless cunt.
But we have got to start having this conversation honestly. And
come on the channel, cocksucker. I'll have the honest conversation.
You know what? You ought to contact him. I think you should. If this guy has got, tweet him or something, because this man puts himself everywhere, and he never seems to talk to anybody who. Well, he never seems to actually have a conversation with anybody. Every time I see him, he's speaking like this.
He's always insanely one-sided.
In sanitized terms like real estate disputes, and
it is indeed a real estate dispute.
Airstrikes on militants.
Yes, it is an airstrike on militants.
Feels a little disingenuous when what you're describing is forcing people from the homes they've lived in for decades. And
again, this is I'm not sure if you're here, Dan, for the preamble with the Sheikh Jarrah thing. Essentially, in 1948, Israel had the war of independence. It lost some territory in East Jerusalem, and then all the Jews were ethnically cleansed from there. They were forced to leave.
Okay.
They own property in this thing called Sheikh Jarrah. In '67, they made it. They managed to win that property back, but there had been a bunch of squatters in there for the last 19 years. So they had rights. It's been in the courts ever since. It's essentially, they're basically looking for their rent. If they're not going to pay rent, then they're going to be evicted. Right, that's essentially what it is. Then that's what it's been about all the time. It is a real estate dispute. It generally, again, the real source of this conflict is this is a power grab from Hamas, from the Palestinian Authority. They delayed elections again for another year as Hamas were politically gaining ground. They would probably win the election. So that's what's really going on. And this is all again, this guy says, oh, they're neglecting me. It's so awful. And this guy's like, yeah, okay, what he says must be true.
Killing civilians and children. Again, none of this frees Hamas from responsibility. But Hamas...
Well, you spent most of this time freeing them from responsibility.
Hamas doesn't represent all Palestinians, just as what Israel is doing right now doesn't represent all Israelis.
You know what? I'm happy for it to represent all Israelis. It basically does represent all Israelis.
Indeed, Jewish people.
Any Jew not behind this is a schmuck.
Lots is but some things are pretty simple.
Yeah, you're an anti-Semitic cunt.
One side is suffering much more.
And one side's starting it.
And if America really wants to help, it might want to
get the side to starting it to stop.
Seriously consider changing its long-held position here, because for decades...
Well, the long-held position of Israel has a right to defend itself.
The backbone of America's policy in the Middle East has been that America is an unwavering friend to Israel, which is
the only democracy in the region, the only place where there's LGBTQ rights, the only place where there is where we have a similarity of morality, the only place where there is women's rights, the only race there is freedom of religion. It's the only place. Yes, that is why that America, generally speaking, supports us.
Great thing to try and be. At the end of the day, I would hope that a real friend would tell me when I'm being an arsehole.
Okay. John. I'm a real friend. I'm a real friend. You are a cocksucking piece of shit arsehole. You are the arsehole of arseholes. You look like an arsehole. You sound like an arsehole. You smell like an arsehole. You make me feel like I'm experiencing an arsehole. You are the absolute definition of an arsehole. You're welcome, mate. I'm only telling you this because I love you so much.